Hey, what's up? This is your friend Jake from Chestnut Kamo, and welcome back to this another very exciting match in round 7 of the Tata Steel Masters 2026 between India's ranked number 1, Arjun Erigaisi versus the youngster from Turkey, Yagiz Kaan Erdogmus. Only 14 years old, actually the best 14 years old the world has ever seen, according to the GOAT himself, Magnus Carlsen. Now, getting a compliment like that from Magnus Carlsen surely feels like it's like being Jodie Polgar in your own Netflix show. I know it's a bad comparison, but I'm pretty sure Erdomus was happy when he heard that from Magnus. Let's see if the best 14-year-old can hold his own against Arjun Erigaisi here. Let's go to the board. Arjun's playing white while Erdomus is playing black. C4 by Arjun, the English opening. E5 by Erdomus, the King's English variation. Now white can go knight e3 here, the reversed Sicilian variation, or continue with the line with e3 or g3, which Arjun did. Knight f6 now. Bishop g2. c6, blocking this diagonal. Knight f3. And e4. So Erdomus early on attacks Arjun, threatens to kick this knight. It's not good, right? When you move your piece twice in the opening, it's bad. Unless if you have plans, if you have other plans. So knight d4 now by Arjun, moving his knight away. d5. Okay. Looking to have this nice pawn structure by Yagiz Erdogmus. His bishop right here is actually not doing much since his diagonal is low at these pawns here. It's dominated by these pawns. d3 by Arjun, challenging. Queen b6. Now, if you're black here, it's always good to place your queen in b6 if there's a piece on d4 because it doubles attack. The piece on d4, which is the knight, and this b2 pawn here. Yeah, it's defended by this bishop, but this bishop cannot really go into, say for example, the g5 because it has to defend this b2 pawn. So Arjun avoided it by placing his knight on d3. Knight g4. Erdogmus continues to attack Arjun, threatening to capture this f2 pawn and forking both the queen and the rook. And Arjun said, I'll go defend that with a style. I'll castle. Alright, so Erdogmus pushed e3. Relentless attack by Erdogmus. Arjun can actually take this pawn here. He can take, and then the knight captures, bishop captures, and then queen captures. And after all of that, it's still an equal game, but black spin is here, and probably Arjun did not really like that position for white, so he goes f3, kicking this knight, and knight f2. Instead of backing out, Erdogmus moved forward. You know, what are you gonna do? I'm here. Hello, everyone. I'm here. Knight f2, threatening to capture this queen. So queen c2 by Arjun. Arjun was planning to push the c5 to disconnect queen from protecting this pawn that protects this knight. So that's a plan there. So this is not really, if that happens in this one, will be captured by the bishop. So Erdogmus immediately went for knight h3 check, and Arjun, being on it with the knight, he captures the knight. You know, he trades it with his pretty not really useful bishop, and that knight was very annoying. So Arjun took it. Bishop takes bishop. Rook is written, so rook move to d1. d4 now. d4 protecting this pawn here. c5 pushed by Arjun. Queen d8. Queen moves back to her king. Queen c4. Arjun is looking to take this pawn and exchange queen. Knight a6. Arjun took the pawn. They exchanged queens. Knight takes queen. And then bishop takes c5. And also Arjun takes the pawn on a3. So it's still a balance game. This knight is pinned to the bishop. So right, it's still black, so castles. Erdogmus castle, green side. Looking to capture this knight. Got his pin to the bishop. So what does Arjun do here? Knight c2. He moved back his bishop, his knight on c2. At the same time protecting his hanging bishop. It's no longer hanging. Rook h e8. Positioning. King f2. This is actually attacked twice. So white's king had to move to f2. Knight b2 now. Erdogmus. Knight ba3. And here, it's still a balance game, but then probably Erdogmus was planning this ever since. He planned to exchange the sacrifice. So he took the bishop on a3 with his rook. It's an exchange sacrifice, and the knight takes back. Bishop e6 by Erdogmus. d4. Sacrificing a pawn. So this point of the game, white is up a pawn. He has 7 pawns, while black has 6 pawns. So he gives back a pawn. Rook takes d4. King e1. Actually, the reason why he sacrificed a pawn, it is to unpin. You see this knight is pinned to the king, right? And this is not better for. It's not looking good for white. So, he's found a way to unpin this by sacrificing a pawn. d4. Black takes with a rook, and then he moves his king to e1. That is why he sacrificed the pawn. Alright, so rook takes rook check. Then knight takes rook. So knight is safe. Knight takes e2 now. You can't really take back because there's a bishop defending. King d2 by Arjun. d5. Knight c2. a5. Looking to push his pawns here. Knight c3. Knight takes c3. B takes c3. And a4. Actually a4, not b4. a4 here. So it's still even game. Erdogmus having these beautiful bishops versus white's rook and a knight. e4. King c7. f4 by Arjun. g6. d4. So Arjun's planning to capture one of these bishops. Bishop c4. Erdogmus didn't allow it. It's still good for him playing with both the bishops on the board. Look at the influence these bishops have. e5 by Arjun. Bishop e7 by Erdogmus. g4. c5. Kicking is not away. Now it goes to c2. King c6. Knight e3. Arjun was still hoping to capture one of these bishops. Bishop goes to b3. f5 by Arjun. Bishop g5, pinning this knight to the king. When you're playing against pair of bishops, this can happen in the time of the game, right? The pin. It really sucks. It's very annoying. Queen d3 by Arjun. Bishop e4 now by Erdogmus. attacking both pawns. King e4, defending this pawn. g5 by Erdogmus. So instead of taking this h2 pawn, Erdogmus decided to just, I'm gonna push g5 and defend this bishop right here. So h4, undermining this defender, bishop's defender. So if you take, then you can take the bishop. And then here, Erdogmus actually tricked Arjun. He takes the knight on e3. Arjun takes black with a king, and then Erdogmus takes h4. What a nice move by Erdogmus. He tricked Arjun. Actually, let's go back. Let's go back here. Alright, so here, king e4 by Arjun, defending this pawn, and letting this bishop takes h4, h2. And then this is a trick by Erdogmus. He tricked Arjun by defending the bishop, go into g5. g5 play, defending the bishop. So he probably thought that Arjun would definitely go h4, which Arjun did. It undermines the defender of this bishop. And when that happens, Erdogmus immediately captured the knight on e3. King captures back, and then black has to move here. Then he goes capture h4, and he now has 2 pawns up. He has 2 passers on both sides. This is very hard for Arjun now to defend. King d2, looking to reroute the king, and hopefully white stroke can defend here. While the king defends this way. Bishop d5 by Erdogmus. Rook e1. King d7. King e3. Now in this position, white is losing here. Black is so much better. Arjun tried the idea of moving e3, and hopefully he goes e6 check. Pawn captures, and then c4, and then capture the pawn if a3 is played, which Erdogmus did a3. So the idea is you go check, pawn captures, and then c4. So bishop threatened, then you capture the a3 pawn. This is still losing for white, so much material disadvantage for white here. Black is winning. So it's king c1 by Arjun. Bishop g2, planning to defend this past h-pawn. Arjun finally went for e6 check. King e8. E takes f7 check. King takes back. Rook e6. b4, solidifying the structure here. g5 by Arjun, still not giving up here, even though he is losing this game. b3 by Erdogmus. Rook f6, check by Arjun. King g8 by Erdogmus. Rook e6, and d2 check by Erdogmus. King c2, h3. Pawns on both sides actually are planning to promote to graduation. And here Arjun takes a final move, king d3, and resign the game. A tough loss for Arjun Erigaisi. He played well, only Yagiz Kaan Erdogmus played better this game. This was a phenomenal performance from Erdogmus. After losing to Senlaro in round 5, he then won his 2 games in a row against Jordan Van Forest and now Arjun Erigaisi. A massive statement from the youngster. He truly did not disappoint Magnus today. Alright, that was it. Thank you for watching and have fun playing chess. Till next time.